For the past 18 years, local history has been put on display here. Today we go up close with the artifacts and stories preserved by the Anoka County Historical Society. When you visit the Anoka County History Center and Library.
So this is one of our current exhibits. We call it Getting It Done, Anoka County's answer to World War II.
You'll see pieces of the past, preserved and on display.
This is a homemade body form.
And if you look closely, you'll learn they all have a story to tell.
During World War II, one of the major home front efforts that was constantly told to people was conserve materials.
In 1942, the War Production Board made selling wool pants with cuffs illegal and worked to reduce fabric use in women's clothing by 15%.
Anything you can conserve, don't use any extra.
As this body form shows, that directive was followed in Coon Rapids homes more than 7 decades in the past.
It would hold its shape, and it's your body exactly.
It's an example of people far from the front lines, working to make a difference at home.
We really wanted to highlight their efforts.
School desks tell the story of elementary and middle school education from the late 1800s through the 1940s.
And those little schools just wouldn't fit the number of children who needed to attend them anymore.
Something as simple as toys and tools stored in a suburban garage between 1950 and 1970 bring an important chapter in Anoka County's history within reach of younger generations.
It touches on a number of interesting aspects of work and play and things that you might have been doing with your family at your home during that era.
A century has passed since the League of Women Voters Coon Rapids chapter was formed.
This is an organization that grew out of the women's suffrage movement.
It's just one of many organizations reaching the century benchmark. All of these collections remind us of the names, faces, and events that shape our history.
If we're not here as a museum, as a historical society, where does this stuff live? Or does it live anywhere?
Ensuring it does survive requires forestalling the many hazards that come with the passage of time. Pen was put to these pages 119 years ago.
Someone is accusing a fellow, resident of the Centerville area of catching fish illegally in a certain place. And then a couple cases later, we find that person is sort of retaliating by then accusing a family member of his accuser of also catching fish illegally in another place.
It's a look into Anoka County's early judicial system.
When people bring things to us, new artifact donations, document donations, this is not uncommon.
Threats can include moisture, insects, sunlight, or fire.
I have to keep them safe and I have to keep them findable. If everything were just to sit in boxes all the time back here and never get looked at and never have anybody know anything about it, what would be the point of keeping it?
For fragile newspapers,
so there's a roll of film.
The solution is microphotography.
So this is the Anoka County Union, all of the issues for the year of 1922.
Yet many of the documents you'll find in the research and reference section of the History Center are original.
So that looks like a check or a receipt.
In addition to city directories and school yearbooks.
The Coon Rapids High School yearbook from 1965.
These records can help a family tree grow. But this bridge to the past is fragile.
We're sometimes able to find those connections for them and to pull up an obituary of a relative for whom they maybe had a name and a death date, and suddenly they know all this more information about this person that they're related to.
Dear Mom, dear Mom,
I know there are things that don't exist anymore because nobody thought to save them.
Your package arrived.
A reminder that the world we live in today will be history worth preserving.
With all the boys.
Over the next couple of years, a record of everything stored here will be available to search online. I'm Dan Carpenter, bringing you up close to art, history, and culture.